Alright, so today we're gonna be doing I'm gonna start doing the 480 swap video, and I'm gonna be as detailed as I can, just because my first time doing it. So a lot of it's research that I just looked up on YouTube, on Google. Yeah, so I'm gonna show you guys how I do it, and then you guys can do your own research, I guess. Things you're gonna need. So right now I still need a couple more parts. These are just parts so I can install it and at least have it in there. So you probably need the same thing. If you have a 4L60 and you're doing a 4L80 swap, this is probably what you're gonna need. 4L80, two-wheel drive, the transmission obviously. Make sure it comes with a dipstick. I heard a dipstick super important because it's different or something. Make sure the sensors are all here. These are the speed sensors. There's gonna be two on the 4L80 versus the one on the 4L60 that I believe is on this side right here. I think this is for the shifter assembly, so it can pivot. There's a plug from what's on the other side on the 4L60, but this is from the harness. We're gonna have to repin that. I'll make a video on that probably the next on part 2, I guess. But yeah, 4L80 trans two-wheel drive with the torque converter. Now this is obviously a stock setup. You can always build these. I'm not gonna build it for now just because I have really no need for it right now. I just kind of want to get my truck on the road and I can build it later on. But yeah, so trans, torque converter, dipstick, make sure the sensors are in place, nothing's broken, two-wheel drive. Next thing you're gonna need is the cross member. I got this off some guy on Facebook. I'll probably post his name somewhere. That's all he does. I mean, that's like it's a side job, side hustle, whatever. He makes these cross members that kind of tuck in, so anyone that's super low can always use these or ask him for one for a normal 4L60. But he also makes the ones for a 4L80 swap, which is the one I got. So this will mount up in the stock location, and then the trans will bolt up to there, and there you go. Otherwise, you have to modify your stock one. The other thing you're gonna need is a 4L80 flex plate. I got that new on eBay with the ARP bolts for it. You're gonna need it because it's spaced out differently. It has a spacer that will make the starter engage it properly. Otherwise, the stock one won't engage properly, and I'm sure it probably would sound like shit. I also got the torque converter bolts that go through the flex plate and into the torque converter. Got those, 6 of those. And I also got, these are extra, you don't need to get these, but I'm gonna end up doing AN lines to a true cool cooler to the front. So I got these on eBay. He's pretty good at making these. He makes 2 different styles, because I guess there's 2 different styles of fittings. So these are the stock ones. I guess they're push clips or some shit. And then I'm gonna take these out and install these 6 AM fittings. That way it runs straight up into a cooler up front. Cause I just wanna do it as best as I can with what I have right now. And that's another thing I should mention too. The 4L80s, I guess they come with 2 different styles of cooling systems. The earlier ones, I think, I might be wrong, but pre-99, these 2 were like super close to each other. And then after 99, I think, or 2000, they became separated like that, which is a newer style cooling that they call. So make sure I wanted this style, so I would try to look for one like this style again. So there you go. That's the difference, I guess, in case anyone was wondering. 4L80 is a lot longer. It's a lot bigger, like fatter wise. So so like I said, I think this is everything you need. Now I'm going to continue taking off the stock flex plate. I'll probably do the rear main seal. Since I'm already in there, I'm going to check it out. And then I'm going to bolt up the flex plate, throw these lines in, and then see what's good. Alright, so I took the stock flex plate out, and it's actually cracked like in 3 different locations. There. Where the fuck's the other one? That small one right there, and there's another one right there. So I'm surprised it didn't shatter by now, but it's gonna be scrap metal. This is the new 4L81 that I told you guys I got on eBay, because it was a good deal and it came with a bolt for it, with some lubricant for the bolts, seems like it, and then instructions like anything else. Now this is a spacer that's kind of built into it, as you can see, and this is a 6-bolt flex plate for a torque converter versus the 4L60, which was only 3. So that's another difference too. And then the spacer is going to help you. It's going to help the centering of the starter so it engages properly. So obviously, it's in the engine side, right there. You can see it. So I mean, it just goes towards the engine like that. These bolts are 3/4 12 point. That's the key, I guess. 12 point. They fit in there perfectly. They come with instructions, so you gotta lube them up with that lubricant grease and torque them to 85 foot-pounds in a crisscross pattern. That's common knowledge for most people that do it yourselves. But yeah, it's always better to torque it, in case you don't know, like in a crisscross pattern, like star shape, if that makes any sense. And the stock bolts, just an FYI, I guess, they're 15s, 6.15. That's the key right here. I wouldn't recommend using a 12 point on this because it might round it off. And these are one of those bolts that you don't want to round off because these are a pain. So yeah, I would just use a 6.15. Fits in there great. So now I'm going to put this on with the bolts and the lubricant, talking to 85 foot-pounds, and I'll show you guys that. Alright, we are underneath the truck now. So flex plate is in. Obviously the engine side is facing towards the engine. Make sure that's on right, because I'm sure you're going to have a fun time if you put it in wrong. Bolts are in with the lubricant that they gave me with them. So now I'm going to tighten them by hand and then torque them. And just an example of how I'm going to crisscross it, I'm probably going to do here, then come back over here, and then here, and then here, and then there. Some kind of star-shaped pattern. I'm sure there's like a actual sequence if you look up the repair manual or something, but the way I'm gonna do it should be fine. So I'm gonna tighten these, torque them, and then probably the next thing I'm gonna be doing is getting rid of these tranny lines out of the way, so I have more room when I'm putting the tranny in. And I guess transmission is about to go in a little bit. Right, we're underneath the truck again. The 4L80 is underneath. Flex plate bolts are torqued. So now I'm gonna attempt to put this tranny in myself, because that's the next step. The stock cooler lines, I cut those and threw them away. They're right there. Because I'm not gonna need them anymore. So now, from my experience, it either goes in super smooth or it's a pain in the ass. Alright, so I'm underneath the truck again one last time because I'm done for today. Like I said, the tranny was kind of a pain in the ass, only because it's kind of hard doing it on jack stands on the floor with only one jack. So I had to mangle it on top of the jack and then pivot it up, and then but once it got up there, it kind of just faced up and kind of just matched up right here, so everything cleared. I really hope everything's on right because I don't want to take it out again. We did mangle the pan a little bit. I'm going to take the pan off anyways to drain the fluid if there is any in here, and I'm going to pound it back out, so that'll be fine. I need to do the wiring still. That's going to be some other time, probably tomorrow maybe. I got that cross member in, the one for the swap. Super nice, really dig it. I'll give you guys the guy's info in case you guys want to see it, or buy one from him. His name's Tyler, and yeah, I had to cut a piece of the exhaust out because this thing wouldn't clear, so I don't know if you can see the cut right there, and then it goes to right there, so that had to get cut out. Probably make another one later on, probably with some flanges to bolt off and on. I need to get the drive shaft made, and then I'm thinking of doing some custom AN lines. I don't know if I mentioned it already. I have this extra hose. I don't know what it was for, but I have a couple AN lines, and they happen to be 6, like the fittings I bought for the tranny. So I'm hoping I can make something out of that. Get a trans cooler mounted up here. So I mean, pain in the ass. I will say this, big heads up. You can't see it right now, but the dipstick. Put the dipstick in first before you put the tranny in. So like I said, put the dipstick in first. Like just route it in its way, but don't stick it in the tranny, and then put the tranny up, and then stick it in the tranny. If that makes any sense, because I put the transmission in first, and then I had a hard time mangling that dipstick in, because I'm using a different dipstick, the dipstick that came with the transmission, the 480. So I think it'll be easier if you put the dipstick in first, tranny up, and then stick the dipstick in its actual hole, and then, I mean, I think it'd be easier, but I might be wrong. But yeah, so that's where I'm going to end up today. Tomorrow I'm going to try to do some measurements for the drive shaft, or figure that out, do some research on that, and hopefully we get this bitch running soon, because I need a truck sometimes. Alright, day 2 of doing the 480 swap. Like I said, I put a couple hours in yesterday just because I just wanted to get the tranny in, and then the rest of it is pretty easy. Old cooler out with all the lines, I just cut them because I didn't give a fuck, and I'm gonna throw it away anyways. Old dipstick, we're saving that just because, so remember to get the proper dipstick for your truck, I mean for the 480. I need to put the torque converter bolts in today. Once those are in, I can put that under shield. This is actually a shield that goes underneath it. You guys probably saw it yesterday, that big old, how the torque converter is all exposed. Alright, so we're underneath the truck right now. So this is where that shield goes that I told you guys about. And now I'm going to put the torque converter bolts in. I just wanted to say that this little gap, I had to do some research on it, make sure that was right, and I guess there is supposed to be a slight gap there. So don't worry about that gap if you have one too, but there should be a gap there, and this thing, torque converter, should spin freely. That way you know you're not binding up on anything, and everything's good. So I'm gonna put the torque converter bolts in. That's nothing hard. Just have someone hold the crank or something, or figure out how to hold it yourself, or you tighten them all down. They're all gonna go through the flex plate and into the torque converter, and probably gonna take the starter out so I can put them in through there. But that's about it. So it's gonna be pretty easy right now. I went ahead and got a couple of small stuff done already, so figure I'd catch you guys up. I think last time I was doing the torque converter bolts. So just quick note on that, make sure you start them all before you tighten them all, because those bolts aren't tapered, like they don't have a centering bolt for the flex plate. So I just make sure they were all in before I actually tighten them, and then I mean just tighten them as you wish. Look up the torque spec. I put the cover on it. I tightened the cross member for a trans. I had to replace the neutral safety switch because it was different. The one that came with the 4L80 was like a 2-connector one, and I did some research, and I guess they're interchangeable. I might be wrong. If this car doesn't run right, the truck doesn't run right, then I'll let you guys know. But I just put my old one from the 4L60. So make sure that the orientation of the pin is the same as when you took it out compared to when you put this one back in. Otherwise it won't line up, and you don't want to force it because it's grooved, so it only fits in one way, and that's the only way it goes in. And then it bolted up the same way. Well, it bolted up in a different location for the stock 4L60 setup, but the bracket is the same. So I'm sure it can be used for both. Let's see, what else did I do? Oh yeah, another thing that I noticed was make sure the 4L80 comes with the bracket for the shifter linkage. It normally goes back there. I took it off to take the pan out. But yeah, make sure that's on there, the 4L80 one, because I don't think the 4L60 will work without making some custom shit. I'm sure you can make it work, but make sure the 4L80 that you get comes with that bracket. It holds that cable that bolts up to here, and it mounts up in that bracket back there. Besides that, I mean, that's pretty much it. I got measurements for the drive shaft. I'm going to use the stock one with the 4L80 yoke, so I need to figure that out. I took the pan out because I just wanted to see what it looked inside. Nothing crazy. So I mean, it is a used one, and I'm testing my luck with it, but we'll see how that goes. But there was nothing really concerning. I mean, I probably should have done it before I put it in, but it was now, I guess, so I did it now. I'm gonna get a new filter for it just in case, and hope it lasts me a bit before I can take it back out and build it, and then maybe boost this shit. But yeah, that's it for now. I'm gonna start taking the ECU apart for the harness. I need to repin that shit, so that's somewhere in here. I'll show you guys that later. I'm gonna show you guys the 4L80 yoke versus the 4L60 yoke. Stock drive shaft. Well, my stock drive shaft that came with mine. So this is the stock, and this is the 4L80 one. Obviously, like, way thicker. So I'm gonna see. I've seen people just swap this part and just put on their 4L60 stock drive shaft. So I'm gonna see if I can get that done. The length looks to be good, so I think this is a little bit shorter, slightly. So I think it should still go far enough, and it should work. So that's for the drive shaft. That's about it for now. Alright, there's gonna be like real short updates. This is like the next weekend, and my phone's gonna die. I actually forgot to record. So we got parts in. Transcooler came in, obviously. Got that mounted up. The True Cool 4K or 40,000, whatever, off eBay. Got it mounted up. Use the stock, the brackets they provided. I'm gonna cut the excessive off later. Just kind of want to get it mounted up for now. I did use a spacer on this bolt right here, so we can clear this bracket. So it's kind of a little bit at an angle. I don't think it should matter. I mounted it up with the fittings up. I'm gonna do one of those self tappers through here that they provided. I'm not really too worried about this since it's not really a big concern to me, so I don't mind doing a self tapper there and there. I mean, it's already pretty sturdy already, but so that's done. I got the fittings for it. These are the sizes. I don't know if it has a size on here. Right on the size. I got them on eBay too. I already got one of them open. This one right here. So I'm gonna put these like this, so they can run a 6A line all the way down to the trans. I got my lines routed up. But this is all the excess, so I'm gonna mount them up in the trans first, and then run them up here. So I've got one for each side. I'm going to use these combination of random AM fittings I have here. See if I can make it work. Probably get a 90 off this one, and then like a, what would be a 180 loop around here. Running down this way across, down to the bottom, down to the trans. And I already showed you the fittings for the trans. There's these ones right here. Got one for the front cooler and one for the rear one. I'm gonna mount those up real quick, and then wiring, and I think we should be pretty close. Alright, so I got the fittings on the transmission side done. I'm not going to show you guys how to do AM fittings because I'm not a professional, and there are people that do it way better than I do, so definitely check out some videos before if you guys plan on doing it this way with the AM fittings versus using the stock lines. I mean, all I can tell you is use tape to mark it where you want to cut it down the middle of the tape mark, so like right here. That way it kind of keeps the fraying to a minimum. And then, I mean, just use the AN lines. I didn't have a 180, so I'm going to do 290s there, and another one here. I'm going to get another one for this side later. I want to loop it around so it kind of points down. But this will do for now. But I mean, I would go look up some videos because there's people that know how to do it way better than I do. Just wanted to give you guys a quick update. So now I'm going to install the fittings on these ends so they go onto the cooler, mount them up, run them down the side, and mount them up to the transmission. Alright, a couple days later, I think I left off and I showed you guys the trans cooler I got. It's all set up. Like I said, don't know too much about AN lines, so you can watch other videos for that, but I mean, it's pretty basic for the most part. I just got the harness for it. Now, you can repin it yourself, but it's actually like this connector itself. I don't know why I couldn't find them cheap. Cheapest one I found was 15 bucks. And for an extra 10 bucks, you get the other connector that you have to repin. So you plug it into your harness side, and another one goes into your tranny side, and that's done. Repinning it is not that hard. But I mean, for an extra 10 bucks, I mean, why not? So that's your choice. I mean, it's 25 bucks. 10 more bucks than just getting just this pigtail with about 2 inches of wire. That's for the speed sensor. But yeah, I'm gonna put this on, route it, because I need to put these into the ECU, and put fluid in it, and hopefully it starts. Oh, and the drive shaft. I got the drive shaft too. Now, I was looking up a bunch of videos and forums and shit. So this is a completely new drive shaft. I got it made. I took my old one and the end yoke. Now, pretend it is a stock drive shaft. There's supposed to be a U-joint that will adapt your stock drive shaft to the aftermarket, to the 480 U-joint. Now, for whatever reason, I kept buying it. I bought 2 of them because I thought maybe I got the wrong part in the right box, and it was still fucked up. So I was like, okay, the easiest way to deal with this is just go have one made, and it was easy. It just cost a lot more. So I don't know what's going on there, but maybe I had the wrong part number. But it always says to use Moog 447 U-joint if you want to have the stock drive shaft with the 480 yoke. I'm not sure how people got it done. The only thing I'm thinking is maybe my yoke is different, like maybe possibly aftermarket better brand or whatever. But yeah, so that's another issue, but that's up to you guys to figure out. I had to end up just having a custom one made. It was like a 1-day turnaround thing. Dropped it off in the morning, and they kind of gave me a quote, and they were like, okay, end of the day you can pick it up. So that's that. So that was easy. Doing it that way. I didn't want to keep fucking with U-joints because I don't know what was going on there, honestly, but supposedly you're supposed to use Moog 447 or something, and then it should work, but in my case it didn't, so keep an eye out for that. But yeah, I mean, I'll put these in and then hopefully it starts right now. So yeah, I just pinned the wiring into the ECU for the new speed sensor, because you need 2 of them. If I haven't told you guys already, the original one goes into the back speed sensor, and the new one that you get is going to go into the front speed sensor. And this is a new one. It goes down the original path, and then it comes up to the ECU. You pin it, pin 22 and 23 on the blue connector. I might be wrong, but I would definitely look it up, because there's people that explain it like super detailed, and it's super easy. So yeah, I pinned it already, so the connectors are in it. I put 2 extra ones, so you guys see extra ones. These are for a fan harness. So like I was saying, these 2 extra ones are for my electric fan harness that I do plan on doing, the OEM style. I didn't want to do them later on, so you guys can look that up if you guys want to do that too, since I was already in here. So those 2 are extra ones for my fans, for future use, and yeah, I think it's ready to see this thing starts. Might not record anything because I'll probably be too busy like checking for leaks from fittings and shit like that, but I'll show it when it's driving and once I'm done with it. Alright, this is a couple weeks later after I already finished the 480 swap. I want to say it's running perfectly good the way I did it. So like I said, do your own research and just really know what you're doing. It's pretty easy for the most part, just bolting shit up, and there's some stuff that could be a little like iffy, like the wiring, but just look it up. I try to do it, show it as easily as possible, so people understand it, like even someone that's never done it before. So yeah, but here's my wiring for the speed sensor. I still need to route it a little bit better. Kind of goes that way, but I just kind of wanted to get it out of the way. I got my fan harness tuned for the electric one, so that's all that harness right there. That's all done. Like I was telling you guys, I pinned my ECU when I was in there already. For the flash, ECU flash, I actually end up having to take the ECU itself to my tuner. If you're in Arizona, I went to All Out Tuning. They're up like in North Phoenix area. I'll put their page somewhere, and then you guys can check them out. So I'm sure my guy in Arizona can do it. Your tuner in whatever state you're in can more than easily just flash your ECU. That's all he did. I just took the ECU to him. He flashed it for a lady transmission, and that was it. So that's about it. One quick note I do want to say is your tranny fluid, like triple, quadruple check that after driving it for a little bit. First, as soon as you start it up, and then after you drive it for a couple miles, and then maybe even the next day or the next weekend, because that's going to be very important. Check your temperature gauge if you have a trans temp, and just use some common sense, I guess. Tranny fluid, we'll call it to slip, and make sure that dipstick is reading properly on it. Make sure you got the right dipstick, because if the dipstick's too short or long, and that's gonna throw off your reading, and then you're really gonna not read it properly and possibly fuck your shit up. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, I think only the wiring part might be a little tricky. Besides that, everything just kind of buy parts and bolt them up and shit. So that's about it. Here she is. Maybe drop it a little more, I think, but maybe some other time. But that's about it. Yeah, I guess till whatever next project we got.
Weezy out. Young money. Cash money. This is the Drop 3. Ladies and gentlemen, you know me.